Hello and welcome back to the Middle Order Cricket Podcast. We were hit hard by the abrupt postponement of the PSL. We thought about packing it all in after that disaster, but no, we are back and back with a bang, just in time to look forward to the upcoming Pakistan tour of South Africa. But first, let's join my guests, Khizar Ali and Azam Iqbal, to discuss some of the other stuff that has been happening over the past few weeks while we've been away. And we're going to kick off by first just talking a little bit about the recently concluded India versus England limited over series. Khizar, we've got the T20 World Cup coming up later on this year. Do you see a winner outside of these two teams?
Hard to see in terms of batting prowess anyway. But ODI cricket is different to T20 cricket, and if these pitches that they played on are anything to go by, then the toss counts for a lot. There's not many scores you can defend. But I'd like to see a bit more of a balance. But I think, more balanced teams, maybe in terms of better bowling attacks. Yeah, on paper, these are both really good bowling attacks. It is hard to see someone outside of the two taking that. But I think, come to the World Cup, T20, not ODI, Pakistan will show up. They always do.
Azam, what's your thoughts? We've both seen both the England and India teams batting on fire throughout the series. What do you have to say about the World Cup coming up?
I think both teams have very, very strong batting depth. I think that you can tell a lot about the names that they've kind of left out, like Hales as even getting into the squad, never mind team. And India, you've seen the rotation they carried out through the series. One thing I would say is I'm not too convinced by England's bowling. I think Archer, Wood, they'll play, and Rashid, he'll be a banker. For some reason, they don't seem totally convinced by Moeen Ali at the moment. I'd probably have him in my team. So I think for England, there's a few spots there potentially for bowlers to kind of put the name in there and see how they get on. In terms of batting, I agree with Khizar. They look very, very strong. But I think a lot of it could come down to the bowling. Because I think most teams will be pretty strong on them wickets batting-wise.
Before we left off for the break, we were talking about the Pakistan Super League, having a great start. We were about a week in before we heard the disappointing news that the PSL would be postponed until later in the year due to a coronavirus surge in amongst the teams and the players. Because it was very disappointing to see that just in the midst of a great tournament.
I think the tournament was going really well, just starting to warm up. We had seen a lot of the emerging talent step up as well, which was, I think, the best thing to come out of the very short window that we got, very short PSL that we got to date. It would have been nice to see how these guys develop. It is a shame, but you can understand current climate, what's happened. We would have definitely been a lot better prepared for the World Cup if we'd had a full PSL. They've kind of fast-tracked a few of the guys from that. Might be a bit soon for them. It would have been nice to get the whole tournament in.
Azam, has this sort of ruined Pakistan's momentum and more generally Pakistan cricket's momentum? It was back on the rise after South Africa had come and visited. But the PSL was fully taking part in Pakistan, but plans didn't go accordingly.
Yeah, definitely. It's kind of disrupted a very good phase of cricket that Pakistan were going through, and I think more so like the kind of damage to the reputation of the PCB and Pakistan cricket as a whole. I mean, some of the stories that were coming out were crazy. They were holding weddings in the same hotel as the players were staying. Some players were going down to try and get some wedding food, try and get some biryani, some parothe, all that. And so it just seems like security was very lax, but hopefully this will be a big learning experience going forward. And when the PSL comes back in June, I think it is, I'll just go from strength to strength. So yeah, it is kind of disappointing what's happened, but it's important we kind of learn from it and build for the future. What's happened.
Khizar, it's a great point by Azam. The reputational damage to Pakistan could be severe. Obviously, we've got more teams due to visit Pakistan later on in the year. We've got the PSL coming back as well. Is there a chance that maybe the international players will think twice now about coming back to Pakistan? And will the teams also think twice about having a series played in Pakistan?
I don't think they'll. I don't think it'll change things as far as because of Corona. The main issue is security. That's been dealt with. We've had these issues in South Africa. We've had them in India. We've had them in Sri Lanka. It's happened everywhere. It's still very new, and now we have sorted it because we've told a few Gore to come and sort it out for us. So it should be all okay when we start up again. I don't think anyone's going to stay away because of Corona.
I think just build on that. I think they were pretty premature as well, calling the whole tournament off. I think at that point there was about 4 or 5 players and some support staff infected with the virus, and instead of kind of quarantining them, which was the kind of protocol, they just decided to disband like the whole or postpone the whole tournament. So I think maybe they were a wee bit concerned with the reputational damage as well, and kind of just wanted to nip in the bud as quickly as possible.
No, I agree. I think they took a big decision very fast, and like you said, they could have quarantined and try and manage it, but I think they did it to try and save face and make sure things didn't get worse.
So carrying on with things that have been happening while we were on a break, Babar Azam's legal troubles seem to have continued. Azam, for those that don't know, and I'm sure everybody does by now, but Babar Azam was accused of inappropriate behaviour by a woman.
An auntie, let's be honest, she's an auntie.
Yes, in comparison to Babar Azam, actually, even in comparison to Khizar, this woman is an auntie. She accused Babar of some unseemly things. We thought it went away a few weeks ago when she signed a letter or so saying that she took back her claims. But Azam seems to have rumbled on again, and for some reason she's now accusing Babar again. What's going on?
Yeah, no, to be honest, when these rumours first came out, and even up until like a week or two ago, I was like, he's innocent, 100%. Like, I got into a very heated conversation with each other. I was like, these things happen all the time. Famous people get exploited. They pay them off just to kind of for the PR side of things. But I was reading the news, and it was on Geo News, so I don't know how reliable it was. But apparently, Babar Azam's cousin has been caught making threatening phone calls to this lady, and they managed
is this cousin Omar Akmal?
No, it's not Omar Akmal, no.
Right.
But they managed to trace the number, and it was actually registered to his cousin, who's obviously denying all allegations and saying it wasn't him. But I think it's a wee bit more serious than I originally thought, if it's kind of getting to this stage.
Do you think, Azam, this is because here's a young man, he's not married and he's not getting any? What do you put it down to?
To be honest, I have no idea. He was 15 years old.
Have you seen a picture of this auntie?
To be honest, I don't know why he'd be going anywhere near her. And to be honest, I'm just bemused by the whole situation. I'm a wee bit puzzled.
I think we should just put it down to the influence of one Omar Akmal. We know anything related to Omar Akmal seems to go bad. So let's hope that Babar Azam can learn a few lessons from the wrongs of that lad. But on a serious note, because we expect our Pakistani cricketers to be behaving in the right manner.
We expect it, but expectations. What can we say about expectations? Pakistani cricketers have maybe not always carried themselves very well, but there's a lot of attention around these guys. This guy is a big deal at the moment. So, yeah, a lot of them, for some of the, coming into the limelight, getting all this attention, it's not like Azam. Azam's used to it. Azam can, he's learned to deal with it over time, but these guys are coming new on social media, getting a lot of attention, and maybe don't know how to handle it the best way. But he seems, you would think he seems like a guy who's got his head screwed on right, and he would hopefully not have anything to do with this.
See, another thing I just want to point out is these allegations do relate to like 11 years ago, if I'm correct. That's when this all started. So I'm sure he's developed and matured a lot since then.
11 years. So what was he, like 12 when he
15.
was banging this auntie?
So he's
What
meant
the
to
hell?
be 15 when he was having this relationship with her. Yeah.
She should be in jail, that woman,
Yeah.
taking
Yeah,
advantage of him.
If only there was a legal limit in
But
Pakistan.
apparently, Ijaz says that because it's an Islamic country, that Babar Azam was in the wrong for leading her on because he could get married at such an age. Right.
Well, I
I'm
think
not
we'll have to bring on Ijaz Hussain for the prosecution of Babar Azam in due course. But if for whatever reason he is proven guilty, Azam, what should be done?
To be honest, I'm not too sure. It is a tough situation because if he was 15 years old at the time, I mean, he was just a kid. It's kind of difficult to imagine what you kind of do. He shouldn't be kind of punished 11 years on for his actions as a kid. Obviously, you could take action if he's kind of threatening and intimidating this woman at this moment in time.
Listen, man, we let a 17-year-old Muhammad Amir match fix and come back and play cricket. And we're going to give Babar Azam, a 15-year-old boy, for having a crush on a MILF. Come on.
Yeah, to be honest, I don't know what can be done about that.
Maybe they should just be made to get married, And
that's right. Ruin the poor. He's already lost form because of this woman.
Well, let's hope he doesn't lose his captaincy and his position as a Pakistan player. Let's move on to something a little bit more hopeful. There are rumours of a rekindling of relationships between the Indian and Pakistani governments, which naturally means that there is some rumours going around that potentially we could be seeing a Pakistan-India series of cricket sometime soon. Khizar,
Waqas, stop.
That's got you all hot and bothered.
Like this.
That's got you all hot
It's got me all hot and bothered. I love it when you talk dirty. It would be so good. I mean, Pakistan-India cricket, we get to see it at World Cups and stuff. It is huge. It is massive. The rivalry, forget your Celtic Rangers, forget your Ashes, forget everything. This is a big one. Everyone on both sides of the border want nothing more than a Pakistan-India games or a series even, or tours even. And even the players do. And it's obviously the board who have been keeping this away. And now they are the ones that seem to be, showing some encouraging signs for this to happen. It would be massive. It would be brilliant. And there literally has been a generation that has not seen it.
Yeah, I mean, as we've only been treated to matches between the two countries at national tournaments, which is not the same thing as a proper tour, where we've got a mix of matches and over a longer period of time. As we know, Pakistan's performance against India in World Cups is not great, but outside of that, we actually have a tremendous record against India. And I think that when the pressure is off slightly in that high stakes one-off match, Pakistan do perform a lot better. I mean, as in our lifetime, we've seen very few tours of one or the other.
Yeah, I'm not getting too excited yet. I feel like they're kind of dangling a carrot in front of us at the moment. What I would like to really see is Pakistan, India go at it in a test match or a test series. I think because we do kind of sometimes get to see them in tournaments, play ODIs and T20s. So I think like a test match, I'd be really excited to kind of see how they perform in that. And I think Pakistan do have a good test team, and I think it is coming on. And I think that in the right conditions, they could really challenge India.
I think it'd be a brilliant series. I was there for the last time Pakistan toured India. I was there when India came to Pakistan. Limited over games, but the prospect of seeing a test match between these two, the most recent ones being when Afridi got his 140, when Sakleen turned the screw, winning games in India. As Waqas mentioned, we've got a great record against them. And I would love to see a test series between these two teams.
I think the last proper tour, if I just exclude a single limited overseas, it was I think 2007, where there were some tests and ODIs played. There will be some great battles that we've not seen on the world stage. So I think we're all looking forward to the potential for Pakistan India series in the future. Let's hope that the boards and the governments can do everything within their power to make that happen, and we as cricket fans will celebrate. But Azam, Khizar, thanks very much for joining me today. We will hope to see you all over the next few weeks as we get our program back up and running. We've got a lot of cricket to look forward to, and I'm sure I'll catch each of you very soon.